And so I'm looking, I'm saying, okay, well, this must be the one because my natural list is lining up like this. But then when God showed me who my wife was, she had everything spiritually that I needed. And then when it really boiled down, she had everything naturally that I needed. I made the right choice. And then I saw the other person that I could have chosen to be with. She ended up getting married and divorced within a year. And for what God had called me to do, she would not have been compatible. So when it all boiled down, really prayer goes into it, and then I had to look and be honest with myself. What's spiritual and what's carnal? And that will help me start eliminating those things from the list that are really important. Now, I'm not saying go out and just scrape up anybody off to the side of the road and say, Lord, this is, I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is that when you're approaching someone for marriage, that is a very serious commitment. And you want to eliminate as much carnality from it as possible, because the carnality, the flesh is going to burn up. When it all boils down, when you get into marriage about 2 years, and because when you become one flesh, somebody's flesh is going to have to burn up. Something's going to have to fall off. There's a pruning process. So you want as much spirit as possible in this process. Because after 2 years, you won't even recognize yourself. You say, well, who am I? I used to be like this, but now I'm all nice and kind, and it used to be about me, and now it's really about the other person. So those lists, you have to have a list for yourself as well, and what you're willing to give up. I'll leave my part of that.
Wow.
That was good. Wasn't that good? I'm really curious when John is going to get here. Because, there's something with him being here. And anyway. So, this I want to say this just for the brothers. All right? Kind of varying from the question a little bit. I really believe that you found the one. Because that's always a question. How do I know she's the one? Or he's the one. But I think from the male standpoint, and I made the statement already, if you feel in your heart there's nothing that she can do to cause you to stop loving her or feeling the way you feel towards her. Now, I'm talking about in your heart now. In other words, it's been tested, okay? Not just when in the kind of lovey-dovey, goosebump phase of a relationship. I'm talking about y'all gone through some hellish times, okay? But even in the midst of that, there is something in your heart for this woman. I believe that's the one that God's called you to marry. The reason why I say that is because God's love is unconditional. As I said before, there's nothing we can do to cause him to stop loving us. He loves us just because. And it's very important that your love for your wife is not just because you're physically attracted to her, although that is important, but the reality is our bodies change. So it can't be just because of that, or how she is in the professional realm, or against a lot of the things that can change that are temporary. There has to be something in your heart for your wife that is eternal, if you will. Okay, and so I really wanted to share that for the brothers, and I'll just say for the ladies, on the flip side, you never want to rush into a situation. This brother, you're valuable. You're a pearl of great price. Are y'all ladies there? Do you receive that? All right. Thank you for the smile. You should smile on that. You go ahead and say, I am a pearl of great price.
I am a pearl of great price.
I'm checking y'all out, man. I'm checking y'all out. Because if you're not smiling, that means you got to work that in your mind a little bit deeper. You need to stand in the mirror and just go look at yourself. I'm a pearl of great price. That's what you need to say until you feel good on the inside with that. Because you are. Which means this. The brother needs to pay a price for you. Okay? Because you're important like that. Now, I think the way the Lord sets it up in the dynamics, quite frankly, and I don't know what Jay Cameron's experience it was, but I think the way the Lord sets it up, brothers, you're going to pay a price regardless. You don't even have to try to make you pay the price. Okay? You're going to go through some things just to win her heart, because this is the deal. the father, if she's really in there with the Lord, the father has to release her to you. And what the Lord does, and this is what I've seen in my situation and in many other situations, what the Lord tends to do is, she's just not seeing you, bro. As much as you feel like this is the Lord, she is not seeing you. It takes God to flip that switch and open her eyes, whatever the case is. But it works something.
Whoa. That was a word from the Lord. Wait.
Yes.
You said, if the woman does not respond, she just ain't seeing it. And the brothers need to understand that the Lord hadn't flipped the switch, she just ain't seen it. That's what you just said?
I believe that's what I just said. I was
But
still
that
kind
was
of
so
flowing.
good because a lot of times, it's that you're the one. And one of the questions somebody had, I don't want to jump, we'll come to later.
Now we can segue though.
How to nicely shut somebody down.
Yeah. Well, it's a couple of things. Now, how we approach that is really important. Okay. Because again, and sisters, sometimes y'all get these prophetic unctions yourself.
This is true.
But just kind of staying true with the brothers is this. If you feel like God has shown you your wife and she doesn't see it, it's a couple things. You got to respect that. Okay? You got to respect that. Friendship is the foundation for a relationship anyway.
That's right.
Okay? In my situation, there came a point where my wife she just wasn't there. I respected that. I said, we got to cut this off, however. Because I'm not going to play like we just friends. Even if you want, if that's what you want. Because in being honest about the situation, if you're honest, you've crossed that line. So you're too emotionally engaged. So as a result, no. Now, there was things that God had to do in her from a maturity standpoint and development, and things that God had to do with me. So there was a year before we reconnected. Now, when that reconnection took place, because it was a long distance relationship, I had to say, and she was talking about coming to Maryland, relocating to Maryland, I had to say, Lord, now what is it? Now you got to help me here. And I really had to search my heart. And I knew, because my thing was I would not get in another relationship unless I felt for that woman what I had felt for my wife, because that would be unfair. And I knew what I felt with her, I felt was the Lord. But at that point, it wasn't manifesting. Okay? So I had to deal with, again, my character being dealt with. Am I hearing from God? Is this God? All those types of things. And still trusting God that God was going to make it okay. I will even go to this extent. When I proposed to my wife, I wasn't sure. If she was really going to, I really wasn't sure. Okay? But I knew one thing. I said, we both felt like, okay, we got to get some closure here. So we either moving forward or not. And she, I think she really didn't know what she was getting into. But anyway, but with counsel and all of that, it was like, okay, you cannot expect her to relocate without an engagement ring. That's just not right. Okay, that was the counsel I received, because I really did. I want to just come down here and we'll build from here. You know what I mean? I was trying to play it safe. No, you got to lay it down. So what I understood is, I'm going to get set free one way or the other. I'll never forget, I bought a new car at that time. I had an engagement ring. I said, if I come back and she's not seeing me, I got this car and we're going to have a good time. So I went ahead though, and I went there, and she was somewhat floored. Somewhat, how y'all ladies, But obviously it worked out in an awesome way, and she's uniquely fit for me, and myself for her. But how do you say no? I think sometimes you just gotta be blunt. Don't worry about, gotta help him or her in the feelings realm. Okay, sometimes we want to protect them and all that, but also we like the attention, and so we're trying to still navigate where we have some of that attention. Just go ahead and be forthright and say, listen, God has not revealed that to me. These are the dynamics I feel here, and this is what I feel is best for both of us. oftentimes when God has a promise and a blessing for you, He will challenge you to put it on the altar and let it die